Would we raise meat chickens again? Yeah, absolutely. But not for the reasons we thought when we started. When we first moved out here on our 7 acres, we really wanted to learn what it was like and what it really meant to raise our own food. In the past, we had our friends raise meat chickens for us before. We even helped with the processing and we learned a lot, but man, I'll tell you, when you raise them on your own land from start to finish, golly, that just hits different, you know? And our purpose in the whole thing was fairly simple, to raise our food, to care for this land and keep finding ways to make it better than we found it. And this was really our first year in trying it, and it taught us a lot more than we expected. When we first got here, we knew we wanted to understand what producing our own food really takes. We know it takes time, effort, and responsibility, but until you actually have done it, experience is a different lesson. So the meat chickens felt like a perfect place to start. They grow fast, they teach you a ton, and you see the whole process literally in just a few weeks. We ordered 100 Cornish Cross chicks from a local hatchery here. It's about an 1.5-hour drive from us, and so in order for us to reduce what we thought hopefully the travel stress on the chicks, we picked them up ourselves instead of getting them mailed. So yeah, we had all the brooders set up, so we got them home, the feeder's ready, the water's ready. We got them in there, and I'm not gonna lie, right away felt like a big responsibility just from the start. I heard about the death rates of the Cornish Cross, and I knew they can be a little finicky. Day one, my mindset for sure was not, how hard can this be? It was, oh boy, I really hope, I hope I'm doing things right. And in that first few weeks, man, we were taught lessons for sure. That first, at the beginning, when we would come out to feed them in the morning, there would just be some gone for no reason what we could tell. Then there was one night, this predator, I'm assuming it was a raccoon, it got into the tractor, somehow ripped one leg off of 4 chickens. That was rough. So I actually ended up having to cull them that morning. In the spring, we had a lot of rain, and we really didn't realize how some of our land sits. So we had flooding in places. We actually thought we would have been fine. So again, we lost more birds there than we expected. So yeah, lesson learned, raise them on higher ground for sure. Be aware of the weather before you plan your next batch. Then as the weeks went on, and those Cornish Cross, they grow fast. We were feeding them twice a day, morning and evening, but even with that schedule, just be prepared. They will act as if they hadn't eaten in weeks. When they see the bucket, they will claw and scratch the front of the line to make sure they get that feed. There's a fairly good difference between our layer hens and the Cornish Cross, for sure. And then we started fermenting the chicken feed. It helped stretch the feed out a little further, made it easier for them to digest. And since they were on grass, they actually got to forage a little bit too, so that helped supplement some more of their feed that they needed. Yeah, and I also started moving them more often just to make sure they were always on fresh grass throughout the day. It also helps spread out the manure evenly. For a week before we processed with our family and friends, I processed about 20 of the largest birds myself. I did this just to get the rhythm down, test our setup, and really just make sure any adjustments needed to be had before everyone else showed up. Yeah, so processing day was kind of a long one, but honestly, having friends and family there, it made the whole thing special. Everyone was there working hard. We all learned something new, and another bonus was our freezers were full. So we raised them to about 4.5 to 5 pounds probably in an 8 or 9 week time span. And I know some people will grow them longer and make sure that they're bigger, but we kind of had limited freezer space to begin with, so at that size, it was actually perfect for us. Guys, the taste, honestly, probably some of the best chicken I've ever had. I know I'm biased, but it's true. In the pasture where the tractors were, grass was greener and thicker than before. That alone just felt like a win. And this whole experience just really changed how we look at our food. It's one thing to talk about, raising animals. It's another to actually just do it. It is hard work, but it just really connects you to your food and your land in a way that it's kind of hard to explain just until you've actually done it for yourself. So yeah, we'll definitely raise meat chickens again. We're just gonna try to be a little smarter about it. Maybe we'll start later in the spring, smaller batches, maybe succession them, and for sure raise them on higher ground. We're just thankful for the opportunity to learn, for the provision, and really for the chance to keep growing in this aspect of farming. And if you've ever thought about raising your own food before, don't be afraid to start. The best lessons tend to come from trying, and we're grateful for these opportunities to learn. And we really hope that our experiences here on this channel encourage you to try new things. So yeah, in our next video, we would love to share some of our biggest mistakes and what we plan on doing differently next year. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.